Good morning. Happy Friday, right?
Happy Friday back at you.
Friday, happy, what do they call it?
Hey, by the way, what did you do for Valentine's Day?
I was in an Orkin meeting.
Okay.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh.
I was up with the Northeast Division in a meeting, and my wife already wore me out on that, Victor, so I don't need any more guff from you.
You got in trouble. Good for you.
This time of year, I'm on the road all the time, so I'm moving around. But
can I tell you where I was?
Where were you?
Because I'm just saying, somebody has set the bar higher. Company out of Blairsville, Georgia.
Yeah.
Not only did they hire me to come in and train their salespeople, the owner let me use this cabin on the lake, Lake Nottely. Beautiful cabin. I'm just saying, time to up your game. You know, you don't have a cabin.
I have a cabin, but you got to fight my wife for it, and she's not real happy with me right now because of Valentine's Day.
Not a good time. Timing's off.
Like zero.
Okay,
chance.
cool.
Zero chance of getting that.
Oh,
who do you see out there? Oh, by the way, in the chat, it's National Fish Fry Day. You know, it's Lent and all that kind of fun stuff. I ate a steak on Ash Wednesday. I'm going to go to hell.
Yeah.
I can just figure it out. But that's all they had at the meeting. In the chat, tartar sauce or no tartar sauce?
Yes
or no?
I'm a tartar sauce
What are you
guy.
saying? Depends on the fish.
Yeah, it depends on the fish.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Adam.
Where's that?
Adam.
Adam's got issues.
Anybody else? Who do you see out there? Well, Adam has issues.
Adam has
That's
issues.
not even nice.
We should get a shirt that says that Adam has issues. Man, I see Don Agatone out there. Just kind of, there you go. Michael Hernandez is looking, I don't know, a little confused or happy. I don't know what he's doing right now.
We're going to hear something about Butch in a minute.
Eric Durant, what's happening? That's background.
Butch,
Elazar. I wonder if he says Siga or Sequa, like Antoine Fuqua.
How about Avery Brewer? He's like a newly promoted RSM, Victor.
Is he any good?
He got the nod. We're going to find out in a big hurry here.
All right, we're going to find.
He was okay doing that branch manager thing for a while.
Daniel Bunk. Have I ever picked on Daniel Bunk?
There's Miguel Diaz.
Daniel Bunk, give me a thumbs up. Let you know you're hearing me, man. My man, Daniel Bunk.
Nice crowd.
What a last name.
Nice
Dude,
crowd.
you've been playing with that one. That's cool.
Ed Beauvais, the West Coast leader out there.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
So
This is our West Coast broadcast, right? Although a bunch of them were on earlier, which was kind of crazy. I mean, they were up at 5:30 in the morning or whatever getting on.
I saw Dawn. I know Dawn's there somewhere.
Yeah,
Not
she's
3
there.
times. She always censors us, doesn't she? Complains. She whines. She says, "Hey, don't do that. Do this.
Look,
don't do that."
She's smiling.
Yeah.
She sent me a note.
Yeah.
We did a nice job, she said, on the earlier one.
Really?
But that's another story.
Dawn said
Speaking
something
of
nice.
speaking of doing good jobs, I feel like I'm with royalty, right? So tell the folks about, you got like inducted into some Speakers Hall of Fame or something. Tell them a little bit
I'm
about.
just saying, my price is going up, Ed. My price. I got the Top Sales magazine out of the UK inducted me into their Sales Hall of Fame, and Global Gurus nominated me in the top 30 sales global gurus.
Nice.
International.
Nice.
Royalty.
Royalty.
Right.
More important than Victor's royalty and awards. So I said I was up at the Northeast Division. I know that the PAC group does this and South Central does this. They bring all their branch managers together, once a year and do a big event. Well, this week was up in Atlantic City with all those folks. And they do a unique thing up there. They certainly recognize their branch managers and their leaders and their top group from last year. But what they also do is they recognize a home office employee that has provided great value to their team as a whole. So the Northeast Division chose our own Stormy White as the most valuable rock star for the Northeast Division, the way that she supports us.
Stormy White.
She was crying, Victor. It was awesome.
Did you get misty?
I did. I thought
got
it was
misty.
so cool. But I'm that way, I'm all crazy emotional. I get all kind of caught up in anything.
Stormy deserves it. She works hard.
Absolutely.
She's a hard-working woman.
Absolutely. I think I told somebody one time that I don't know if the Grammy Awards, I don't watch much TV, but we did watch that. And when Luke Combs started playing with Tracy Chapman, I was crying like a little baby. So we'll just leave it at that. So,
let's leave it at that, Ed.
Hey, we had a Super Bowl contest when we launched this thing last.
We did.
When we had all the groups together, we had the account managers and the HSIs together and all the managers. Victor, we had over 480 folks pick.
I like that.
The team they thought was going to win the Super Bowl.
That's good participation, right?
It was great participation. So when you think about that, at that time there were 4 teams left.
Right.
So we asked you to pick your team and to pick the total final score together. And we had let's start with this. Only 49 of those better than 480 picked the Chiefs to win. Really? A lot of Ravens. Again, the Ravens and the 49ers were probably favored. But only it got whittled down to 49 just like that.
Wow.
when the Chiefs won, and then one person out of those 49 picked the exact total final score, and that was Justin Shaw out of Reno, Nevada. So he won. Justin, $300 coming your way, just outstanding. We had 2 runner-up prizes. Remember, we were giving away $500, and we did a random draw earlier.
Yep.
And so these 2 folks are going to get a $100 Amazon gift card in their inbox this weekend. Omar Mendoza out of El Paso, Texas, and Matt McCutcheon, who is a home sales inspector for us in Indianapolis. So
nice.
So just
Congratulations.
super cool.
Yeah.
Just super cool. What else? Anything else?
No, it was a good game, by the way. I watched it. My neighbor invited me over because I'm not a real football fan.
Yeah.
But I was impressed with the kicker, man. The kicker that kicked the 62. I mean, I'm looking at that. There's no way he's going to make 62 yards, and that blew me away. And I think
65, I think.
Was it 62? Correct me if in the chat, but I think it was 62, and it was the longest in Super Bowl history. But I think the longest kick is 67.
Yes, you're correct.
I think that could be it.
So,
that was impressive, though.
On this
right down.
don't talk kickers on this broadcast. Like, half these folks picked the 49ers, and they
Why?
lost the Super Bowl because they missed a kick.
Yeah.
You know, their kicker missed it.
Yeah.
He kicks that extra point, the game never goes to overtime.
That's right. That's right.
So
yeah.
they think he just picked the scab for the 49 Brian Sellers and
there
his
were a
friends
lot of
out
little
there.
missteps in that whole game, so we can blame more than one person besides the kicker.
It always
You
falls
know.
on the kicker. It's always the kicker.
Blame the kicker. Blame the kicker.
Blame
Ask
the kicker.
him.
It's easy.
All right.
No, so yeah, let's jump into some numbers. Right, we got
Let's do
January.
it.
A phenomenal month for the Orkin Group across the board. All 3 sales buckets. Our residential sales made plan, double-digit increase. Our commercial, our termite-related sales made our sales plan and double-digit increase over last year. But these folks, as you know, are mostly commercial. They're focused here.
Yeah.
The commercial team had a phenomenal January, just kind of following up on what they've been doing for, since COVID.
Yes.
Double-digit increases. So just to break it down a bit, $15 million in commercial business sold at Orkin in January. So just crazy good stuff. Just snipping it down just a tad bit. Local commercial was up 11% year over year. Your team sales where the account managers and the Orkin pros work with the national account team to build that business and sell it together. We're up 27%. All in all rolled together, total commercial sales 13% over last year.
Great numbers, man. Just continue to rise.
keep
The
going.
march continues.
Amen. We got a little bit of work to do in February, but we'll get that caught up. We're not out of the gates.
Don't
really
go negative
strong.
on me yet.
I'm not yet.
Okay,
I have faith in this team.
all right.
They'll save us at the end of the day. In addition to all those really good, cool company numbers, we had 10 folks get paid on $75,000 in the month of January. In the month of January.
Nice. Yeah.
So should we
January.
go to the tape?
Let's go to the tape.
Go to the tape. There's that guy.
Yeah, he's always there, man. He killed it. That's a big number, man. That's
a big number.
Big number. Yeah.
214,000. You guys know the math. Take 20% of that.
We got to get this guy in the studio.
He's been in the studio. He was in the studio last
No,
month.
with us on the red zone here.
Oh,
so I can
you just wanna
harass
meet
him,
him?
grill him. Yeah, maybe
Oh,
shake
he's
his
super
hand,
cool.
and I don't know.
He used to hang out with the guys. What was that crazy show where the Jackass, that TV show on it?
Okay.
He knows all those guys. Like he's best friends with the guys from 311. He's like super cool. So maybe we should bring him in here. Maybe he can take my place.
Hey, by the way, do you guys have a Hall of Fame for your salespeople?
No, we don't.
You don't have you should create a Hall of Fame.
That would be great.
So many times, consecutive, they can make it into Hall of Fame.
That would be awesome.
Give them a jersey number or something.
Jersey?
I don't know. What do you think?
Little bust to their head.
Yeah, a little, a little bust.
Bronze bust. I like that idea, actually. No, but I mean, look at these performances.
Great numbers.
And by the way, just to kind of put a little emphasis on Jordan, January 214. Folks, yesterday, Jordan signed Georgetown University for $550,000. So that's a Sourcewell kind of partnership that he got in there. So my man's
what type of partnership?
Sourcewell.
That's right.
Sourcewell.
Okay.
Team sale opportunities. So just crazy good. But look at these names. I mean, grab a couple for yourself.
You got Vivian Brown.
All-star, long-time
VB.
salesperson. Awesome. Up
Love
in the
her.
DC market as well.
Kyle Gorecki. I get that right.
Gorecki. He's based right here in Atlanta. He's been on this list a bunch. I don't know if Jesse's on the call or not. Jesse, if you're on the call, give yourself some love.
Yep.
JJ came in second last year. He wants to be first this year. You better catch JB because he's out ahead of everybody.
That's right.
There's Butch. I saw Butch on the call.
Butch. Is this Sigua or Sequa?
He's smiling, so I mean, I'm sure we're screwing his name up. I can see him smiling at us.
The Butcher Sequa. Who is the Butcher? Okay. Garrett Werfel.
A Yinzer.
A Yin?
He's from Pittsburgh. He's a Yinzer. God love him.
Yep.
Young kid.
Ron Frey.
He's been working his tail off to get on this list. He keeps missing, just barely missing. Yeah. He checked the box.
Man,
Who else?
Guillermo seems to be consistent, man. He's like
butter smooth.
He's butter smooth.
He's butter smooth. Forget about it.
We should find out what is the longest streak eventually that they've had on this list. Like who's had the longest streak?
That might I could probably do that because I have most of these documents.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But Tatupu,
new name there, right? I mean, that's the first time I've seen his name. I didn't even know how to pronounce his name, so I went out and I connected with Derek Kennedy last night. I think I saw Derek pop on the call to make sure we didn't screw his name up. And
Tatupu. That's what you say after you eat tartar.
Stop.
I tried.
And then
everybody's like, wah, 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 wah. No, horrible joke, Vic.
Need to have that buzzer.
I tried, man.
And then my friend Brian Clark guess where Brian Clark's from?
You mean something that says Ohio region?
Yeah, the guy from Youngstown, Ohio.
Youngstown, Ohio. BC himself, man.
I actually know him really well.
Great name, great number. So. And again, they get how much? What do they
get? $100 for making the list, and the top spots gets $500. So Jordan, and we're not giving any more money away, Victor. Don't even try to go down that road.
I'm just saying. I'll just talk to Pat directly and say, look,
you try
there's a gap.
I'll
try that. I'll talk to Pat.
You try that. Let me know.
Go ahead. Hey, Vic, let me walk you to his office.
He's already shaking me off on some of this stuff. Because we did not have a good January profit-wise, folks. But we're going to try to flip that thing here in a heartbeat in February.
By the way, Sean says, Victor, I need whatever coffee you're drinking. Dang it, man. It's just busting me on that one. What else? Sourcewell, Vivian. Yeah, 550K. That's amazing.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
All right.
So today I thought, somebody asked you when Victor talked to the Orkin franchise group last week, and
that's right,
he said, "Do you guys rehearse this stuff?" And let me tell you, there is zero rehearsal here.
There's zero rehearsal
It's usually a couple of text messages back and forth, a couple nights before to figure out what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
But today I served up to you that I wanted to talk about, this how to unlock these decision makers that are just stymied where they're stuck, right? Talk a little bit about that.
There's a study that was done by Tether, and Tether looked at a study and was trying to understand why deals get stuck, right? In other words, you know how you put out a proposal, you swear it's going to go, quickly, it's going to be closed, and 2 months later, no decision's been made. And one of the biggest issues they found is de-risking, is what we're going to talk about. But here's what's interesting. I want to go to the slides here because I think this is interesting. What they looked at, Tether. Think pre-pandemic. Pre-pandemic, nobody was going on Zoom or LinkedIn or Teams. So what they did is they started taking these recordings and then analyzing them. So this company called Tether looked at 2.5 million calls, Ed, looked at over 8,300 attributes, and from that data, so this is not speculation, this is not our opinion, they found 5 things that the best of the best were doing. 1, they own the flow of the conversation. Through questions, they own the flow. 2, anticipate objections, blocking objections. 3 was engagement style, was like they want direct conversation. That's what clients want. Advocacy, recommend something. You want to get this because, based on what you told me, here's what you should do. But the one we want to talk about today is how do you de-risk, lower the risk of an actual deal so people will move forward.
And I think that's particularly important commercially, right? Mm-hmm. For our commercial sellers, because I think there are so many deals that, you get that nodding of the head, they're loving it, they're digging it. First and foremost, these folks are in the business of taking business away from incumbents, right? Yeah. They're not selling pest control for the first time to someone that's never bought it before. They got to do the education. The goal here is to take business away. So I think what happens is we do great proposals and we get that head nod and they're going like this and they're going like this, and they just go radio silent on us, right? They don't buy, they don't move, even though they tell you, I know I need to change. Everything you said makes a ton of sense. I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it. but they just go away. And
they're afraid of making that decision. We talked about this, that there's this fear of messing up called the FOMO, right?
Yeah.
The fear of messing up. They rather not make a decision than make a decision and be wrong. Because if you make a decision you're wrong, you get blamed for it. But if you make no decision, nobody gets the blame.
I mean, you think about the people that are buying our commercial services, right? If you're not selling it to the local mom and pop, that's exactly what's going on in their mind. Man, if I decide to pull the trigger on Victor and change vendors,
Right.
well, this thing could blow up on me.
Yes.
So rather than do that, I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Because if it screws up, then somebody else made that decision 5-6 years ago.
Right.
So I think that's a big piece that we have to understand when we try to, I guess, overcome this thing. And getting these deals unstuck has never been easy.
Right.
It's always been a challenge. And let's just talk about a couple ways that we think that we can position that to help them.
And again, to emphasize it, we want to try to de-risk the situation, to reduce the risk. Their perception of the risk is what the data is showing.
Yeah.
So several strategies.
So I think first and foremost is the triple guarantee, right? I've talked ad nauseum about the triple guarantee.
Great example.
But I think that allows that customer, when you start talking triple guarantee with them, to just understand that we get it. Even when I spin the triple guarantee, I tell the customers. I mean, it's kind of my setup for the triple guarantee. Here at Orkin, we realized a long time ago that y'all, changing pest control suppliers is not easy.
Right.
You've had the same guy, the same gal for the past 5-10 years, and coming over to us is not easy. And here's how we take that or de-risk that whole decision-making process for you by just taking it away and telling you, we got you. Come over here. If you're not completely satisfied with the service and the results that service renders, we're going to do something unheard of in the industry. We'll give you all your money back.
Right.
We'll show up within we'll contact you in 2 hours. We'll be on site within 24. We'll give you all these money back guarantees. All the things that are built into the triple guarantee that I think sometimes we haven't perfected it enough.
Yeah.
And I always tease it up. I tell them, look, we get it. It's tough to change vendors. Our biggest hurdle isn't price. It's never been price. It's status quo. And we can use this to diffuse that or de-risk that by telling them, we get it, we understand it. That's why we built this.
Yeah, and when you look at the triple guarantee in terms of de-risking, it's fascinating to look at it from that answers the logical question.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't do this, I'll get this back. That's the logical part.
Yeah.
But the next one handles the emotional piece, the second strategy.
Well, which one you want to talk?
The transition one.
Yeah, the transition. So the other piece, work on that triple guarantee. But the other thing I think that I'm not sure that we do a great job of, and it's been kind of, I don't know if it's been something enlightening that's come to me like over the past 5 or 6 years, but I used to always talk about the transition. So the customer's sitting there thinking they got to make a change. I always almost waited until they said yes before I started talking about how we're going to handle the transition. Where in the back of their mind, they need to understand that to say yes, don't they? I mean, if you think about it, so if you start talking about the transition and how I'm going to hold your hand through the process, we realize it's tough to change. We got all these money back guarantees. We got the triple guarantee. In addition to that, here's how we handle transition at Orkin. I am going to hold your hand completely through the process. I'm going to show you the technicians in the meat app that are going to come out and do the work. And I think that kind of walks them through it. And again, I think oftentimes we wait until they say yes to discuss transition.
Yeah.
We got a call with Target today. 20 minutes of the call is going to be talking about how we will transition them when they buy. I think it assumes the sale on our part. I think that helps us assume the sale that they're going to buy.
Right.
So we might as well talk about the transition. But I think more importantly than that, it gives them here's how they're going to do that. I was wondering how I'm going to get a new guy introduced or a new Orkin Pro introduced, because that's in their mind.
It's there. I mean, so by the way, you're highlighting a good point, right?
Yeah.
Just to put a finer point on it, is that you don't want to talk about the transition after they agreed.
Right.
You want to talk about it pre, because that kind of eases their brain. From an emotional standpoint, they go, okay, that's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
And I still say that we break that up in chunks. Because sometimes I've had people give me information on transition, but they lose me in the 100 steps.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yep. All they need is go, okay, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, by phase 4, phase 5, we're done. Yeah. And that's all they need to know. Obviously, the complexities below that, but they just want to know what the steps are. And that really calms down that amygdala, that flight or flight.
Absolutely.
That's what it really hits.
Yeah, and when you see it, I mean, because think about if you had to change. If you got to change, don't you want to know how it's all going to work? Right?
How's it going to work out?
Now, I got to introduce a new technician. I got to do this. Heck, my current company screws up my billing. All the things that build into it. So I would tease you and ask you to kind of think about talking about transition before they say yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Tell them how. man, it's easy to do business with us.
Yeah.
All your money back, we're going to show up, 60-day guarantees, all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
And on top of that, here's how it's going to look when we transition you over
So
to
the
us.
triple guarantee, again, hits the logical part.
Yep.
Okay, rationally, that's what's going to happen. If you don't work out, I'll get my money back, that type of thing. And then they'll walk me through the process, how does this work, hits that emotional part.
Amen.
And what do you think the third part hits, your third strategy?
I think one, and I think it's most recent that we're having tremendous success for the folks that have run to the Scent services, right? So we get these new products, and talk a little bit about when a salesperson gets a new product, the different kind of folks that are out there.
So there's two types of salespeople that we see often, is that when a new product's introduced, the new salespeople go, great, a new product, something else to go back to the customer, another reason, excuse to go back and revisit a customer. That's what the best of the best do. That's their mindset. Those who don't sell as well typically say, oh great, another product I got to sell. I don't have time to sell this or learn this. Different mindsets in top performers.
Is a big piece, right?
Yeah, but the mindset is different from a top performer. They're thinking, yeah, give me something else to sell. I need another revenue stream type of thing, and I love that mindset.
Yeah, so we launched the Scent services, and the sales are up like 400 or 500%.
I know.
January over January. Now, granted, we launched it towards the tail end of last year. We've got some folks that have jumped all over it. We've got 4 or 5 folks that have sold $10,000 last month in January. 4 or 5 account managers for us.
Amazing.
That are around the different parts of the country.
Go commercial.
They jumped all over it, and what happened? A lot of it is being sold, and I think this is another way that you kind of work through de-risking. With trials, giving them a trial. A lot of the success that we've been having on the Scent services is, hey, just put it. Let me put it in. I get it. You pitched it. They didn't like it. Maybe they didn't buy it. Maybe you're waiting. You call them back. You say, let me try this, right? So you get that thing put in there.
Yeah.
And then they never take it out.
It's the puppy dog approach all over again, right?
Yeah.
Try it for 30 days. And again, what you're doing is de-risking, right? Just try it. You don't like it after 30 days, we'll take it back. Yeah. And so I love that strategy. And again, I think it's also social proof. They see it and they experience it. And that's a different experience in and of itself.
Yeah, and the guy that I always use as the example is Brett Kermeans. He's been running the commercial branch up in Columbus for probably 20, 25 years. I think they got President's Club plaques all over the place. When he finds stuff. I mean, he reads PCT magazine and finds stuff to try, right? So he's the guy that puts his hand up. We're going to go do this. Then he teaches his team to go do that. Nice. And darned if they didn't jump out of the gate selling a whole bunch of Scent services there because he's doing the trial. So I think that's a big piece to it. You got these products, you put them in trial. Yeah. Get them out there.
I'm wondering from your perspective, like from a management perspective, are you like, this is an interesting thing to kind of be aware of, because we've just launched this, right, recently. So it'll be interesting to see how this rolls out, and what's working, what's not. So let's say a year from now, we'll be able to look at this, okay, where did it work, where didn't it work? But I think it's such a new product that I think has, me, I have a personal attachment to this product because I'm seeing it grow for the first time, seeing it from zero, and I think the potential is amazing.
I think the one thing that we're doing really well with is tracking it, right? We're really tracking it. So a lot of times we roll stuff out and it's just like a gut feel. Are we selling any of that? I see a little bit on the group meetings. I always say, well, I see some stuff happening on the group meetings. We got data on this stuff, so we're going to be able to track this, and that number is legit, from January. I mean, it's just so if you've not jumped into some of that Scent service stuff, all the training and all that was back out there. But and what else you want to wrap? I talk about the book Jolt because I think that's important.
So on the study,
basis of all that,
Okay, so on the study that I mentioned by Tether, it comes from a book called The Jolt Effect by Matt Dixon and Ted McKenna. I highly recommend The Jolt Effect because, in there it talks about how dissecting the data and the 5 things the best of the best do. We just talked about de-risking today. So check out the book. I mean, the book is worth every single penny.
Yeah,
they're great authors too.
I think there's a lot of folks out there familiar with the Challenger Sale book. Talk a little bit about that, because that was a book that came out and really caught guys like me kind of by surprise. I'm like, does that really work? But I jumped right in. I went to conferences, probably 15 years ago when it came out, right? Talk about how that's changed the mindset. That's kind of what the study's based on. But talk about how that changes the mindset of salespeople today.
So if you don't remember, if you've not read the book The Challenger Sale, 2011 it came out. It identified 5 types of salespeople, and one is the challenger that pushes, nudges the client. In other words, really tries to look out for their best interests and is not afraid to ask the tough questions. And now this study from Tether comes almost 11 years later and kind of validates a lot of the stuff that was in the Challenger Sale. So everything that Matt Dixon does, I like to follow because his stuff is real empirical. In other words, research with data. There's 3 books I consider at the top of my golden shelf. And I call it the golden shelf. Books I'll never get rid of and I love all the time. The Challenger Sale, The Jolt Effect, which I just mentioned, and there's a third book that he also authored called The Effortless Experience. If you're customer service, if you're Tim Tarantello and anybody out there on the call center, that's the book to read.
Yeah, and we actually gave that to all the agents at the call center. So that's just
great
that.
content.
So again, if you're looking for stuff to get you sharpen your axe a little better,
Yep.
I mean, I've read The Jolt Effect. I've read it.
I've read it twice. I mean, it's a great book.
Yeah, and and there's even a podcast that you did with.
I did a podcast with
him.
Yes.
It's about 60 minutes. If you want to dive a little deeper into
Yeah.
it, just go out to YouTube and pop that in there, where you discuss the book. And
I mean, like I said, him, Brent Adamson,
Yeah.
a few people out there who I consider just, the real researchers of selling.
Amen.
I got nothing else.
Anything else? Yeah, just de-risk. I think that's the takeaway is de-risk.
Let's go through them again. The first one is the triple guarantee.
Yep.
Number 2, transition. Walk them through the process, what that's going to be, and then do trials.
Give a
Try to
trial.
bring it in, check it out. Use that to de-risk and reduce that anxiety.
I know a lot of our account managers have success selling Actizyme. They're sampling it.
Okay.
Try it for a month.
That's all it is? Yeah.
Try it for a month. That kind of stuff.
If the company's letting you do it, I'd be sampling all over the place. I'd be trialing all over the place.
And I know from the P&Ls, from the region managers on the line, we ordered a lot of these scent machines, and I don't think we sold as many as we ordered, so we got plenty to use as samples.
To sample around.
Amen.
Wonderful.
A little bit of housekeeping, and I think it's important, so I want you to pay really close attention. So the commercial division was set up, and there's about half of our commercial account managers that are inside that commercial division. The other half are outside. They're in the Rescom branches. But what they're going to do, and I'll just give you an example. So they did a broadcast, kind of a twofold broadcast. They launched the Sourcewell initiative. So they covered the Sourcewell, the how-tos. They covered the Sourcewell toolkit that's out there on Rollins One. And by the way, that $550,000 sale of Jordan's was a Sourcewell sale. It was in the works for like 6 years. So that was just how he buttoned it up. And what they also launched in January was the training for how to sell scent services. So they built on that, and now what they're going to do those every other month, and everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. So mark your calendars for March 1st. It's a Friday, a couple Fridays from now. What Dawn, knock 3 times Dawn, is going to do, she's going to lead the broadcast, and they're going to talk about 2 things specifically, kind of campaigns. We're going to do the mosquito training. And not the technical part of the training, it's how to sell. So we're going to bring Hamlet Baeza in here, and Hamlet's, I don't know if he's on the call or not, but a strong performer out on the West Coast.
Nice.
He's going to come in and be with Dawn, and they're going to talk about how to sell.
We have
mosquitoes.
a West Coaster coming in.
Dawn's coming in from the West Coast too.
Okay.
So we've got
right.
that piece. So they're going to focus on how to sell commercial mosquito.
Okay.
Not some of the technical stuff. They're going to touch on that, but how to sell it, right? Because I always think sometimes some of these trainings that we do, we get too hung up on the technical stuff, and it's not how do I sell it. So we're bringing in a guy that sold a whole bunch of it to hang out with Don and kind of share his experience. So I think that'll be cool. The other piece, the other half of that broadcast on March 1st is kind of a relaunch or a re-tee up of our Yum Brands hunting license, for lack of a better word. The endorsement that we have to be able to go out and approach Yums. And we've got Dave Gore, who manages the Yum account for us from the national account seat, and he's bringing in Anthony Acosta out of Detroit that has a wonderful story about a big monster Pizza Hut deal that he sold. So not only are you getting the experts in it, but you're bringing in the folks that actually do it. The peers, the folks that are getting after it. On that first broadcast that they did when they did the Sourcewell and they did the scent services, they had Jordan. Jordan was on the broadcast.
Yeah.
So
I'm dying to get him in the studio.
Yeah, I know.
Kick you out for a day, bring Jordan in, and then let me have Adam.
Thanks for kicking me to the curb, Victor. That makes me. I feel the love. You're out of here, pal.
We got to do some more like video testimonials of these guys. We've talked about this.
That,
we got to do that. We're gonna have to just get some here's how I did it type of thing.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do with these broadcasts. And again, March 1st, you'll get the invites. If you don't have them yet, you'll get them in the next week or so. Get the invites. There'll be 2 broadcasts again. It's kind of the same deal, a little bit different timing. It's 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time, but just get after it, and I think you'll find great value in those. Hearing from your peers on how they're doing this stuff.
Hear from your peers.
Hear from your peers.
Did you mean that?
I did.
That's a good rhyme.
We're right at a half hour.
I think we're done.
I think we're done. The only thing I would say is pick up the pace a little bit. We need a little oomph here at the end of February.
He's getting nervous. Let me see. Catherine, Nikki Uhler, pick up your pace.
Yeah, pick up
Rick
the pace.
Landy, pick up your pace. I'm just picking people random here.
Amen.
Okay?
No, outstanding. And of course, you know, get your mentor score above 800 so everybody's happy with you. And
Okay.
and just, I mean, this is a great job.
You guys are doing
some fun.
great
You're killing
numbers.
it.
Great,
Yeah.
killing numbers. Good
Keep
numbers.
after it. That's all we got. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.